Hello and welcome everyone to this week's Terrific Tips through My Powerful Choices. Welcome. I am Larkin Sell, the founder of My Powerful Choices and the My Powerful Choices Awareness Network, which is a free community that if you guys are feeling stuck, you're never stuck. If you are wanting to learn to master authentic, well, not even master, but just successfully create authentic manifesting that actually really works. If you want to awaken your intuition and learn to live as a whole being, that means the intuitive side, the cognitive side, the mental and emotional side in a healthy way, and to live consciously, this community is for you. It's only about a week old and people are moving over into it from my other communities. So feel free to join us. I dropped the link in the comments. So Terrific Tips is all about learning to reclaim your power, to step into your power and live and manifest authentically. And what happens when we manifest authentically is our life tends to align. We tend to get in alignment with ourselves, with our true energy. And this is really what we're after, guys, when we're manifesting, when there's desires, when there's things that you want. This is really what we're after because our soul knows, our intuitive consciousness knows what it feels like to feel in alignment, right? We know what it feels like. And so our human self is constantly, when we have desires and dreams, that is us gearing up towards that alignment. That is us trying to get in alignment with ourselves, right? So when we're manifesting, what we're really after, as Abraham Hicks says, is we're not really after the things that create that feeling. We're after the feeling itself, right? Sorry, my necklace is so crooked. It's driving me crazy. We're really after the feeling itself, aren't we? If you are, when you're after love, you're after really the feelings of love, right? And what comes with love. But it's because of how it makes you feel. And so you identify it as being a certain type of relationship or a certain type of person or the relationship being a certain way. But in truth, it's how it makes you feel. And this is what Abraham Hicks teaches, right? And this is why she's teaching this. So today we're going to talk about why your manifestations do not seem to be working, why your intention for manifesting does not seem to be working. We're also going to talk a little bit about tools, techniques, and processes, which is what I teach my mindset and manifesting clients, is tools, techniques, and processes for manifesting what you're desiring, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about why these tools, techniques, and processes that you're trying don't seem to be working. Because, I hear a lot of coaches and people that are trying to sell their programs. A lot of them I used to teach women in business, I coach women in business. So there's multiple ways of trying to get people to understand, and choose whether you're in alignment with them or not. And one of the tactics people use is pointing out the things that aren't working or that other people are teaching, right? But what I find is that these coaches or this marketing is leaving out the real point. So I hear a lot lately, coaches teaching, well, vision boards don't work, affirmations don't work. Well, none of that's actually true. None of it works if you don't know how to get the proper vibrational frequency. You have to be a match for what you want because you manifest who and what you are, as Dr. Wayne Dyer and a lot of other master teachers coached. You get who and what you are, not what you want. Okay, so that's the first thing. So when you're wondering, why aren't my manifestations working? And then you get online and you hear coaches saying, oh, well, affirmations don't work and vision boards don't work. And you think, oh my God, I've been using vision boards and affirmations. That's actually not true. Affirmations and vision boards do work. And let me tell you why. And it doesn't really matter what technique you're using. It can work or not work. The whole point is that things like affirmations and vision boards are ways of training your mind, reprogramming your neurology, which works with your nervous system, which creates how you feel, which gives off the vibrational frequency that in turn gives you a return on that reality. Okay. So that's where they work or don't work. Just like people say, well, money is evil. Money's not evil. Money's neutral. Money's neutral. So if you have a good attitude towards money, if you love money, if you give it attention, if you have a positive attitude and belief system about it, you're going to attract money. If you have a negative belief system about it, and you believe that wealthy people are all snooty and rich and they have to have cheated people in order to become wealthy, then guess what? You are pushing even financial comfort away. Okay. So there are some underlying principles of manifesting that I believe are being left out. And that's something that in my coaching program, I'm super thorough about. Okay. We cover this really thoroughly. We don't want to leave gaps because you are a whole being. So if you're just dealing with the cognitive aspect, that's not going to be complete for you. If you're just dealing with the emotional aspect, that's not complete either. If you're just dealing with the physical, tangible aspect, that's not the whole picture. And certainly, if you're only dealing with the intuitive part, that's not the whole picture either. Right now, while you are incarnated, and I'm speaking this way because you guys have to understand the whole theme of My Powerful Choices is science and spirituality are not mutually exclusive. Let's neutralize it. Let's not even call it spirituality. Let's call it consciousness. I try to be as neutral as I can so that more people are receptive to what I'm trying to teach and share with you. Because if you have an aversion to the word spirituality, you might feel more comfortable if I say energy or consciousness, right? I want to neutralize it. It doesn't matter what your spiritual or religious background is, you can still manifest. It doesn't matter if you believe in intuition or not. Fine, don't call it intuition, call it your gut feeling. Our cognitive mind wants labels and it's limiting people in their manifesting abilities. That limits people in their abilities to create the small changes that create transformation that give you what you want. So if you're here listening to this podcast, chances are what you want is here and you're here, right? There's always something that we want. And there's always a gap and a crevice between where we are and where we want to be. Okay. So the goal is in manifesting or in transforming out of struggle and suffering or in living a better life or becoming a better version of you is you have to close that gap, right? And we start by connecting that gap. Hey, Coeasy, welcome. We start by connecting that gap. And so what you want is here and you're here. How are we going to do that? It takes mental, emotional, and energetic shifts, right? And we have to remember that everything is energy. So it all starts with energy. And that means that you need to become at least aware or acknowledge the 95% of your subconscious mind that you are unaware of. Why? Because that is the part that actually manifests for you. You can tell me all day long, I want to quit smoking. I want to lose weight. I want to start having healthier relationships. I want to be happier. I want to have more energy. You can tell me that all day long. And I will believe the 5% of your mind that is sitting here right now, conscious and aware that you're listening to my podcast. The part of you that's going, oh my gosh, like, when is she going to get to this or that point? Or, wow, I really like this podcast. That part of you is that only the 5% of your mind you're aware of. So in my mindset coaching, we have to go deeper than that. You have to start becoming aware of not all, but your habits and patterns, because everything that you have created in your current reality is the result of habits and patterns in your life, of habits and repetition, everything. Okay. You're not going to be aware of most of it. You're going to sit there and say, most people, by the time they're middle aged, they're like, how did I get here? Oh my God, how did I end up in this marriage? How did I end up in this job? How did I end up in this body? How did I end up with no money? Right? That's where most people are. Some people aren't. Some people are like, wow, I'm so lucky. How did I end up in this marriage, in this house, in this life, in this body when they're middle aged? But by middle age, most people are asking those types of questions, if not earlier. And the answer is your habits and repetition that have come from that 95% of your mind you are not aware of. So in this podcast, we are dealing with that, not as intensely as we do with my coaching, but enough that if you guys take notes, if you actually go and apply what we're talking about consistently as a habit and repetition, then and only then will you get results. Because the majority of people that I hear from and deal with don't know, they think that they're either not good at manifesting or they think that what they're using isn't working, right? And so they'll come and they'll say, well, manifesting doesn't work for me. Well, it does, first of all, because you are manifesting 24/7. Whether you choose to or not, whether it's conscious or not, you are manifesting 24/7. Even when you're sleeping, you're manifesting. Okay. The problem is that you're manifesting unconsciously. It's that 95% of your mind that you're unaware of that is manifesting. And so when we talk about waking up and being conscious, one of the aspects of that is to become aware of that. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza refers to the emotion as the mind and the body, and he's absolutely accurate. If you guys haven't heard about Dr. Joe Dispenza, listen to his work on YouTube and Facebook. Go get his books. Becoming Supernatural is a great one. But he's a neuroscientist that I expose all of my students and clients to his material. And we practice what he teaches. Says, in order to create a new reality, you must create a new personality. Because your personality, you see, is the habits and repetition that I'm referring to. That is what we call a personality. So let's say every time something happens you don't like and you complain about it, you have a negative reaction. After so many weeks, that becomes your personality. And then you actually have to change that if you want different outcomes, because a person that complains operates at a certain frequency. And then he or she can only manifest things that match that frequency. And this is the most important thing for you guys to understand. For most people, I hear them say, well, the manifesting or the vision boards don't work, the affirmations don't work, the journaling doesn't work. Okay, it does work. But if you're only using it, let's say once or twice a day for a short amount of time, you're not consistent with it. And if the feelings that you have aren't changing, and if you're not altering your emotion, if the mind and the body isn't different, then you're not going to be giving out a different vibrational frequency. Now, here's what I think one of the coolest things about manifesting really is about. See, we manifest what we already believe is real. What we already believe is our reality. I think this is just fascinating. And it's one of my favorite things to teach my mindset and manifesting clients. This is where we bring in Eckhart Tolle and the power of now, because the most powerful place to manifest is in the now. Now, when we're talking about the now, we're not really talking about time. Okay, somebody could say in the now, okay, in this minute. Well, that's not small enough. A minute or a second even isn't small enough. Remember, you are in the quantum world 7.8 times a second. I'm going to say this again because I think it's amazing. You are in the quantum world 7.8 times a second. Isn't that amazing? You're oscillating. Your being is oscillating back and forth from this lower vibration here in this world to the quantum world. And everything that becomes a physical, tangible reality is first in the quantum. So when we talk about the fact that what you manifest is the most powerful place to manifest is in the now isn't really a place in time. It's a state of being. Okay. It's a state of being. It's when we are present. And so what happens is, let's say you get up, you get upset driving home in traffic every day. And every day at 5 p.m., you're upset and you're anxious for an hour on your commute home. You're hungry, you're tired, you're overwhelmed with what you have to do at night. You're concerned about getting everything done so you can relax. Maybe you have to get the kids from school, help them with homework. You've got 6 more hours of things to do before you can go to sleep. And your nervous system's all pumped up and you're all anxious. Well, guess what you are manifesting during that time? You are manifesting more of that reality, more of being anxious, more pressure, more of thinking about over and over and over how overwhelmed you are. Along with that feeling, right, comes the thoughts that have created it. And so like my mindset clients on week 1, they practice becoming aware of their habits of thought. This is vital because if you're not aware that on that whole hour home, and then for the next 2 or 3 hours at home, you're just frantic about what you have to get done so you can relax this evening, how many things you have to do, how overwhelming it is, that feeling of antsiness, of stress, that's all of that time. Guess what? Since you're manifesting 24/7, guess what you're creating? Not just for tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, but you're creating that for the next few months or however long it takes for that vibrational frequency to work its way out of your energy field. Okay. So listen very closely and take notes about this. What you are manifesting for your future is exactly what and how you're feeling right now. Right now. So ask yourself, whether you're here on the rebroadcast or on the live, please don't forget to like this, guys. Even if it's the rebroadcast, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and follow and help us grow our page. If you're watching on Facebook, please go ahead and like it. Let other people know that it's here to support them as well, okay? What you're feeling right now in this moment, whether you're watching live or in the rebroadcast, please note this for yourself in your notebook. That's what you're creating for your future self. So, what is and we'll do another topic on this, but what's the easiest way to predict the future? By determining and being aware of what you're feeling right now. Because what you are experiencing now is what you're creating for your future. So think about that the rest of today and tomorrow as you go through your day. Do what my mindset clients do. Start to monitor and pay attention. How often during the day are you frustrated? How often are you feeling grateful? Are you full of gratitude? How often are you feeling love? How often do you feel joy and relaxation and appreciation and fulfillment? Or how often are you feeling jealous or tired or overwhelmed or stressed? In each moment, be aware when you are taking a toll of how you're feeling. That is your future reality right there. Okay, so it's easy. It's easy to tell what you're manifesting. Just look at how you feel right now. And then take a toll of how often are you feeling that way? What are your patterns and habits of feeling stress, of feeling anxiety, of feeling regret, of feeling jealousy, of feeling sad, or of feeling joy, fulfillment, abundance? How often are you spending time in a place of feeling that you want? And want means to be in a state of want. That means a state of lack. So one of the reasons that the Zen Buddhists teach not to want, to eliminate want from your life, is because you are manifesting in the now whatever it is you're feeling now. What you're feeling now. Okay? Because that's the mind and the body. And so you have these 95% of your mind you're not aware of, creating these thoughts and feelings that you might not even be aware of. But if you're feeling sad, depressed, lonely, hopeless, helpless, in a state of want, Oh, I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy when I have a relationship. I'll be happy when I have a new job. I'll be happy when I have a new house. That's why when you hear me get on my readings, I'm telling people stop focusing on what you want and you don't have. Focus on the feeling of what it would be like when you were experiencing what it is you're wanting. Because, I said I would talk some today about why people feel like manifesting doesn't work for them and what they feel is, they feel it's not working. But the truth is that if I ask someone what they want when they're trying to come to me for manifesting coaching, and I ask them what they want, most people, when they try to manifest, even if they're doing affirmations or vision boards or whatever, they might even do the techniques I give them like consistently or what someone else gives them. The problem is if a let's say you only spend a half an hour to an hour a day on that, and the rest of the day you're spent letting your subconscious mind run your thoughts and feelings all day without you being aware of it. You're going to continue manifesting what your subconscious is dishing out. That stress, that sadness, that anxiety, that constant state of want. The other thing is that the ego tells you, the subconscious mind, same as the ego, tells you if you just focus on what you want, you're going to get what you want. But the problem is that's a lie. It's a lie because then you're feeling that state of want. And remember, the universe must give you what you already believe is real. So if you are feeling a state of want, I want money, I want a relationship. If I just had more money, if I just had a relationship, that becomes what it is you create more of. See? So most people, they're focused on what they want, so they think that's bringing what they want. But when you focus on what you want, as Abraham Hicks says, every subject is two subjects. So when you're saying, okay, I want a relationship, I want more money, I want a better job, I want to be healthy, I want to quit smoking, that opposite subject, right? Every subject is two subjects. There's the want, and then there's the acknowledgement that you don't have it. Because if you had it, you wouldn't want it, right? So you're in an impasse. They're pushing against each other. You're not going to create change there. You're not going to manifest something there, right? So instead, we have to go beyond that. And we have to use our imagination, just means to image. And remember, it's the mind and the body. Emotion is the mind and the body. So we want to imagine what would, not necessarily what would it feel like with that person that I'm pining over. That usually doesn't pan out well. But instead, we want to ask ourselves, how would it feel like, okay, let's say you're caught up on that person. Okay. Okay, go into how would it feel if I was with that person, and then eliminate that person because you might not get that person, right? If it's not working, chances are it's not going to be working. Okay. So if you have to pine over someone, that's probably not going to work. So instead, use what you imagine it would be like to be with that person, eliminate that person, and maybe put a faceless person you idealize in there, right? And imagine what it would feel like the only reason you're after that person anyway is because you think that person, I got light in the way here, sorry guys, is because you think that person is going to give you what it is, the feeling that you want in a relationship, right? That's what you think is going to happen. That's probably not what's going to happen. That's what you think is going to happen. Okay. It's what your ego is telling you is going to happen. So instead, you use that imagination to take the way you want to feel in a relationship. So maybe you think that person's going to make you feel secure. If you're pining after them, obviously they're not really doing that, are they? Maybe it's going to bring up a feeling of security. Maybe you like how you laugh with that person and you want humor. Maybe they're, financially secure and you know that you need that in your life because maybe you're not. Okay. All sorts of things like that. So imagine then how that would feel. That is actually focusing on what it is you're wanting. But if you're so caught up in focusing on what you want and you think that's what's going to manifest for you, it's not. Okay. So again, guys, it's not that the affirmations don't work. It's not that the incantations don't work. It's not that the vision boards don't work. It's not that the journaling doesn't work. They can and will work. So will visualization. It's a matter of, are you that which you want to manifest? Because remember, you manifest who and what you are. You must be a frequency match. Number two, excuse me, we manifest who and what we believe. So I wouldn't do a huge gap. Like, let's say you're totally broke. I wouldn't say, okay, I need to believe I'm a millionaire, or I believe I'm a billionaire, or I believe I'm wealthy. I wouldn't make that leap. You want to take one little step at a time. But you might want to say, okay, work on that acting as if, feeling as if, imagining as if, being the person. Who do you need to be as a personality? Remember, Dr. Joe Dispenza says to create a new reality, you must create a new personality, right? So who would you be if you were financially comfortable? Okay, you want to start with that. You may not want to start, if, like I said, if you're broke, you don't want to start with being a millionaire or being a billionaire, but you could start with, if I was financially secure and comfortable. And then look at some people in your life as examples who are financially comfortable. How are they? Right? How do they behave? How do they approach work? What is their attitude and habits during the day? Right? Where do they go? What do they do? Learn from that and become the version of you that would be financially stable. Okay. Then and only then, once you're financially stable and you've manifested that transformation, then you can start saying, okay, what would it be like? Who would I be if money weren't a problem? If I was, you know, had more than enough money, that would be the next step. And then when you have more than enough money, then your next step can be, okay, what if I was a millionaire? Right? What if I was financially free? Okay, so you want to work yourself up in little increments, because it has to be believable, my friends, to that 95% of your mind that you're unaware of. Now, for those of you who are on the live or the rebroadcast, I just want to remind you, I popped an invitation to my free My Powerful Choices Awareness Network free online community with school. It's absolutely free. It's only a week old and it's growing. And I'm going to move all my, thousands of followers over there over the next few months. And it's going to be a community for like-minded people. So where we focus on the whole you, the mental, the emotional, and the energetic, or the spiritual and intuitive side. Okay. Because it takes all of that to consciously manifest in alignment, right? We work on awareness, we work on neuroscience and mindset, we work on awakening your intuition. So whether you want to go further with metaphysical and learning that, or whether you want to focus on the mindset and the neuroscience, all of that is going to be available to you in there. Everything from free to high-end coaching. So you might want to check that link out in there. It's free, okay? So what do we have our takeaway with for today? The fact that the most powerful place to manifest is in the now. The fact that you manifest with 95% of your mind you are unaware of, the subconscious mind. And you need to start bringing aspects of that into your awareness. Be aware of the habits and repetitions of your choices of thoughts, feelings, and action, because those habits of repetition is what has created your current reality. And whatever it is you're believing now and you're feeling now predicts your future reality. So if you want a new and different future, you must be a vibrational match for it now, in the now. Okay. So learning to be present can be a long process for some people. But you can start by understanding that the tools and techniques and processes are manifesting will work, and they do work, but they only work if you're consciously manifesting in the now, right? If you are aware of your habits, of thoughts, emotions, and choices of action. Okay. Try that, implement it, keep me posted, join school, pop in school, and let me know. This is something my mindset coaching clients learn. So you don't have the same support and backup if you're not in my coaching program, but you guys can take this and try it. Bring this awareness of your habits and patterns and repetition into your life. Bring the fact that you need to be present to manifest, and the awareness that whatever it is you believe is what you will manifest. I'll see you all next week for more terrific tips from the My Powerful Choices Awareness Network. I'll see you all later. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining, Coeasy.